Brock Riders rode into the night, fearing nothing while the blood moon lit their way. The heavy breathing of their steeds provided the only sound that filled their ears. As dawn broke, they could see the dark bastion rising from the trees. If they could make it to the bastion, then the carrier pigeons housed inside could carry the message across the sea to the Dwarven kingdoms. The Dwarven army garrisoned near the bastion had seen the Brock Riders moving with extreme haste and came out to escort them to the safety of its walls. As soon as the garrisoned army had contacted their Dwarven brothers, a snarling, squealing series of yells pierced through their happiness. As the dwarves turned around to face the sounds, they could see the rat-infested army heading towards them. The dwarves, now realizing that they were cut off from the stronghold, would have to fight the monstrous vermin that stood in the way of their mission. Somehow the ratmen had gotten behind their village, and now surrounded the bastion that the dwarves had sworn to protect. They would have to fight back the smelly, dirty rats in order to regain the stronghold. At the very least, the Brock Riders would have to reach the safety of its walls so that they could send the message. A message of war.
Hi guys, 4 Gaming here. We're going to have another game that goes with our campaign that we're doing. Pretty much this is the 3rd battle in the series of campaigns that we're doing, and it will be the Dwarves against the Ratkin.
Playing my own army.
Yep, playing an old army.
Yeah.
So pretty much the objective of this scenario, I guess, is for the Brock Riders to get to the bastion. And I don't know if I put the camera in such a way where you can see it, but if not, we'll show it to you guys in a minute. And pretty much the Brock Riders have a letter that Spheri wrote. They need reinforcements, and so he dispatched them gave it to the Brock Riders and told them, hey, you guys need to get this to the right people so we can get some reinforcements. So the Ratkin found out about this. They have been kind of hiding in the shadows and kind of watching stuff, and so they think this is an opportune time for them to strike. So they're going to try and stop the Brock Riders from getting to the bastion. Pretty much the bastion is, like definitely a strong point where the Brock Riders can hold up until things settle down, and then they can get the word out to the dwarf higher ups wherever they are in all the dwarf villages and stuff. So we're going to show you guys deployment. We deployed a little bit differently. This is an old Warhammer deployment as well. We always like it. It was a lot of fun to do during 40K when you had something that had 72-inch range and the other person didn't.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a different look at it.
Right.
Just a straight 12-inch deployment.
It's 24-inch deployment, and then you have 24 inches in the center. So it's different because
it's a little narrow of a table, but
yeah, it makes you have to play the flanks a little bit differently, I think, and really makes you. Luckily, we're only doing 1,500 points. Because with a 2,000 point army, it
just 2 armies smashing each other.
Yeah,
there's no flank opportunity. You're just a line of guys.
Exactly. So with this, we kind of have a little bit of a flanking opportunity, but it just really makes you think about where you're going to have things so that they don't stack up and bunch up everything else. So, yeah, this is an old, like I said, this is an old Warhammer deployment. When I used to play Imperial Guard, I loved playing this.
Yeah. The Tau.
It was a lot. Yeah, the Tau. Yeah.
Eldar.
It was a lot of fun. So we brought back something different for you guys. See a different army. The Ratkin we have had on here a couple times, but it'll be nice to see that one again and doing a different objective game. So yeah, it'll be fun. So with that, we'll get to it.
All right. So this is pretty much what we have the deployment zone wise.
Yeah.
Definitely a different deployment from what we're used to. So we'll go ahead and start with the dwarves. What do we got?
Got a unit of berserkers, or a troop of berserkers.
Okay.
A troop of Iron Guard.
Okay.
A steel behemoth. Horde of shield breakers. Another steel behemoth. Another troop of Iron Guard. Troop of berserkers, and of course the Brock Riders. Went a little more troop this time. See some chaff. Saw Mastercrafted using chaff, so I want to see if I can try it out.
Yeah, give it
see
a
if I get the hang of it.
Yeah.
It seems like it makes a big difference.
Definitely.
So, and I think Iron Guard are pretty good chaff for 100 points. We'll see how they do. I hate the low leadership. I'm used to running all hordes and stuff, but we'll see how it goes. Might be onto something.
You definitely favored, I don't know what you would call as a right side of the board or whatever, but you definitely favored, obviously, where the Brock Riders are over there.
I think it's pretty evenly split. Other than Brock Riders, it's almost exactly mirrored layout.
Yeah, I guess it probably is, actually.
So
It just looks like that because the Brock Riders
Brock
are.
Riders, they have to be somewhere. So.
And so the Brock Riders are going to start over there.
And they gotta get way over there.
Yep, and they got to get over there
You
to
got
the
little
bastion.
dwarven legs, so it's gonna be a tough one.
Luckily, it's just, what do they ride on, a little wild boar or something?
Oh, yeah, with little legs.
So the Ratkin deployment, not the dwarf deployment. So this is the Ratkin deployment, right next to the little cottage. So on the very far left over here, we have a death engine. Next to them, we have a unit of shock troops, or a horde of shock troops. You know, it's pretty much give and take with us. If we have the models painted, we may not necessarily have the right model count, but hopefully people will give us a break. At least these models are painted, everybody. They are painted. Actually painted pretty nice, but we don't have as many models. Next to them, we have a unit of spear warriors. Next to
hordes, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
A horde of spear warriors and then another horde of spear warriors. In between them, we have a rat fiend. And then back, kind of the last line of defense, we have another rat fiend and then another unit of shock troops. So it's going to be like just smash.
That's what it looks like.
So it'll be interesting to see how everything goes from here. So again, you have to get to the bastion. And that's pretty much the only thing. My job is to stop you, and your job is to get there.
Yep.
So once you get there, it'll pretty much end to the battle.
So do I have to get like touching it or what?
Yeah.
What's the deal?
Yeah, you do have to be touching it.
Okay.
But the second it's not like you have to wait a turn or anything. Like the second you come in base contact with it, done.
Okay.
So, okay?
Cool.
All right, scenario 3. So this one, you know, we set up kind of like an old Warhammer kind of setup that we used to do. Not Warhammer, I'm sorry, Warhammer 40K. Whereas long board edges, we modified it a little bit. We wanted to do something different, and we figured for this scenario it was necessary to do something different. So pretty much Tom just does what all dwarf armies do. They either stay stationary or move forward. There's really no anything fancy with them. So he moves up his battle line, and he's trying to sneak his berserkers around that right flank there, or not his berserkers, his Brock Riders around the right flank there. I think he feels like that's his best option, kind of divide my army around that impassable terrain. You know, which way is he going to go? Is he going to go around the rock, or is he going to cut back inside and try and go on the inside of the rock, or on the left side of the rock? So those are pretty much his choices. Me, I was trying to play for this scenario, but I was also just trying to, I didn't want to kill the Brock Riders turn 1 and then have it be game over. I wanted to play for a good game too, so.
Alright, so that was the end of turn 1. We went ahead and combined it. So...
Turn 1s aren't that exciting.
Exactly. I think you just moved up.
Moved? Yeah, just coming.
Move the berserker,
The dwarf wall.
move the Brock Riders around the flank there.
Yeah.
Which once you started doing that, I was like, oh crap. I mean, you can definitely fit through that impassable, but it's like, oh crap. That's I didn't, the basic objective, and wasn't quite thinking about blocking off that alleyway. And then you just kind of held with that line. As for me, I kind of sidestepped, kind of shimmied to the side a little bit. Turned my Rat Fiend, so that way I should have just probably done an all-out, like, just reposition, but either way, gets me a little bit closer to where I need to be. Shot with the Death Engine on the Berserkers. Got a couple wounds, but they're Fearless 16, so probably have to take 2 rounds of that. And yeah, that's pretty much the excitement of turn 1, so we'll go to turn 2.
So, sorry guys, I kept messing around with the camera angles. I was trying to get different angles for you guys. Because we're using the long table edges, it kind of narrows the board down a little bit. So I was trying to get better vantage points for you guys to be able to see the battle. So, I'm sure some of you are wondering why my hordes of spear warriors look a little bit smaller than a regular horde. Tom had already magnetized them, and so He had magnetized them for Warhammer Fantasy Battle, which he used them as 7 wide instead of 10 wide. So they do look 7 wide, and it's because they are. They're not a full 10 wide. I'm sorry that they are not a full horde size. Trust me when I say that it did not come into play during this game. We didn't have any issues with the base size coming into play, so we both had agreed upon it, and since they are his models and his base, I figured he wouldn't have a problem with it. So please forgive us for not having a full 10 wide horde for those spear warriors. Anyway, at this point, I'm just trying to slow down that dwarf line. I charged my spear warriors into the ironclad, which I think is a fantastic troop option if you guys are playing dwarfs. An troop of ironclad is just awesome. Or maybe it's iron guard. I think it's ironclad. Anyway, they're strong, and it's very difficult to do damage to them. So great troop option if you're playing dwarfs.
All right. Well, end of turn 2.
Dwarves moved up again.
Dwarves moved up again.
Trying to get there.
So in the age-old discussion of more attacks versus, I guess, stronger attacks, the debate rages on, but I think the stronger attacks might actually have an edge. Because
you went against Ironclad.
Yeah.
So
sixes.
Sixes.
And I had 30 attacks.
And with no crushing. So,
Yeah. It makes it difficult.
Like against this unit, you do a lot better.
What are they, 4s or 5s?
4s.
Oh yeah, do much better.
Much better. It just goes. The chaff holding it down.
They are holding it down.
A little 110 point or whatever they are.
That's pretty good points.
Yeah.
For what they do. I think they actually work. They actually work
Yeah.
as a troop unit. Yeah. And then over here, I shot at your other ironclad unit. Put 2 wounds on them just because I have piercing 2.
Yeah.
So slowly whittling them down.
Mm-hmm.
But over here, I have a feeling that like tactically, this is more of like a secondary, like out of a not a stall tactic, but kind of like no, you keeping me honest, I guess, across the board.
Yeah.
You're keeping me from kind of like swinging like a door and just kind of coming across and keeping that flank. So that's at least what I feel like this whole side of the board is pretty much just keeping me honest with this side of the board instead of just turning this whole side in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just like everything coming over there. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get started with
3.
Turn 3.
So this turn was pretty pivotal for the dwarves. I think Tom does a very good job of picking and choosing what to charge into what unit. He charges the ironclad into the spear warriors. He moves his dwarves up out of the forest because I know he doesn't want to get hindered. And I think charging without getting hindered was more important to him. Other than that, I still wonder why he moved out of the forest, other than to negate that when he charged. He double charged me with the berserkers, and then he flank charged with the Brock Riders, which is definitely overkill. But I know what he was trying to do. He's trying to get rid of that unit. He was trying to collapse my left flank and try and get to the secondary portion of my battle line. He moves the monster up, the behemoth up, to kind of threaten the secondary battle line, which I thought was pretty smart. And then he does a move here that helps him and hurts him at the same time. He moves up the berserkers. He overruns like 5 inches or something, and we had debated about the 5-inch overrun if it was actually 5 inches or not. But either way, it actually kind of hurts him.
What are we at? Top of 3?
Yeah. Top of 3.
I hope so. I'm sure I'll correct myself later if it's not. So stuff got killed.
Kind of. The warriors he threw out there.
Yeah, they were kind of bait a little bit, but good job with moving the Brock Riders back and then placing the berserkers in the way. I was kind of hoping you'd flank
charge from that.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping you'd flank them, which you did, but then you moved everything back, or moved back and then moved everything out of the way. So
pulled back. I think I got 3. So I went back 3 inches. These guys went forward 5. These guys went forward 2. I'm going to sacrifice those guys to keep the Brock Riders alive. Normally I wouldn't do that, but the Brock Riders are the mission. So
for the scenario, right? You kind of have to.
Yeah. If it wasn't for the scenario, I would have kept these guys back, taken a double charge, and tried to flank both of them. But I don't know. the mission. Gotta keep these guys alive.
Yeah, and that's the whole point. Sometimes, you know, the mission will dictate your tactics.
Yeah.
So, you know, it changes depending on what it is. And since the Brock Riders are the ones with the sensitive intelligence, or whatever you want to call it, information, keeping them alive is the whole point.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm just
Trying
trying
to shuffle everything over here. Getting closer. Getting charge range. So he's got to do something.
Yeah. Can't just smile at you
Can't
and
just
look
sit
pretty.
there, yeah.
Can't smile at you and look pretty. That's for sure. Cool. So let's go to turn bottom of three. Bottom three.
So turn 3 was big for me. You know, he had crushed some of my units that I put out there to kind of slow him down a little bit, and this was really kind of a do or die turn for me. I had to take care of the stuff on the right flank. You know, I couldn't collapse back in on my battle line and reinforce the left flank, which obviously the Brock Riders are on. So I had to figure out a way to stall on the left flank and hopefully force the issue on the right flank. So I wanted to double charge the berserkers with both of my abominations. Somehow, or not abominations, I'm sorry, rat fiends, and somehow I wasn't really able to do it. So we had argued angles and charge arcs and whether it was a flank or not, and finally we decided that that they were both would have been in the front arc. Because of the impassable terrain being right there, we could not fit both of them in on the charge. We could only fit one. So one charged in, and it actually kind of helped me in a way. I was trying to figure out what to do with the Rat Fiend there. I did not want to get him flank charged, but I could barely do anything. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to have to turn and face and try and just deal with whatever happens. So I charged the Spear Warriors into his horde of dwarves to try and slow them down. And also on the right flank, I was just hoping that my guys on the right flank, the shock troops, could hold down that side. But I mean, it's 3 units to 2, so I was a little worried about that side. I was hoping that this front that I was putting up, that I would be able to hold that center and hold the right flank long enough to be able to stall and then force the issue on the left flank. So that was kind of my strategy. I wanted those shock troops in the very back to not get into combat until close to the end, because I wanted them to get in the way, obviously, and keep the Brock Riders from getting to the bastion. So that was the whole point of this turn, was really just to slow them down and try and deal with things. Try and deal with things in one piece rather than the whole thing at once.
All right, so bottom of 3.
Yeah, Skaven coming in there.
They're coming in and killing some shit. So
Yeah.
the
Did good over there.
Shock
Surprisingly, I thought I was gonna do a little better.
Oh man, the shock troops killed the ironclad. But I gotta say that was some good rolling on your part too, or on
Bad rolling on my part.
bad rolling,
high on the
rolling high. And then likewise with the
firebolt.
yeah, the firebolt from the death engine wiped out the berserkers.
Yeah, another good roll.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I think you got 6.
I got 6 on the
Yeah.
the D6
D6
roll.
plus
So 13 shots.
Yeah.
Just wiped them off the board, and I think it was I think like they're fearless 16, and that's what we rolled, the 16 together. So dead. Over there across the board.
Oh yeah, did 6 over here.
Yep.
That's pretty good, and 4 from the, which isn't too bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Did 4 wounds here out of 30 attacks. I understand why they are merely, like I'm noticing in the Ratkin army, the things do a specific purpose. Like the shock troops specifically, once you've kind of whittled guys
That's
down,
your
they come in
punch.
and yeah. And the spear warriors are kind of like how you use the blight.
That's your anvil.
They are your anvil for sure. And then over there, the Rat Fiend hit the berserkers and did 6 wounds, which normally is pretty good on a
And I
chaff
passed
unit.
amazingly. I rolled
Yeah.
under my nerve instead
Yeah.
of over all the time.
So that was pretty good. I was pretty impressed actually. So yeah, most definitely. So we'll go into turn 4.
So big play on my part. I was able to get out 2 units on the right flank with the Death Engine. He was able to shoot over my guys and over his own guys because he's a monster, and I was able to take out the Berserkers. So big moves on my part. Tom just pretty much just hit the line with his Steel Behemoth, hit those shock troops, charged back in with the Spear Warriors, charged the Rat Fiend with the Steel Behemoth and with the Ironclad, which I thought was bad news. And then, bad news for me, not for him. And then he charged back in with the Berserkers, which I was worried about against that other Rat Fiend. And then his Brock Riders are pretty much stuck because they can't charge through the Impassable. They can't, I mean, they could turn and move around his guys, but I don't think he wanted to do that yet.
All right. Bottom, or top of four, right? Top of 4, God. Close if I can count. Wow. Yeah, so I thought that was going to go a lot worse for me. You still did a lot of wounds, though. Holy shit. Not as much over here. Well, I'll let you talk about it. Since it was your turn.
Yeah. Went in there, needing 5s to hit. It's more of a anvil unit. They'll be stuck there for a while. I don't think it can hurt the Steel Behemoth right away.
No.
And I might be able to knock him out next turn. Here, did 12 wounds. That's pretty good. From 25 attacks, that's almost 50%.
Yeah,
so
pretty good.
Take that. And next turn, I'm pretty sure. I don't think they're going to do enough my way, and then I'll wipe them out. Over here, not bad. 8 wounds.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah. Kind of rolled terrible over here. Should have been a little more. But Steel Behemoth, he rolled like 5 ones to wound. So that kind of sucked. Over here, did 4 wounds over there. Not bad for the guys I figured were dead.
Yeah. So with those Berserkers, I always think of them as Slayers from Warhammer. So when I'm scared to death of them. Yeah. Like I think they're just going to just wreck face even with a small unit of them. So having them not do that, I actually kind of like.
20 attacks, needing 4s.
I was
4s again, so
yeah,
5. I did 4, so I'm right there on average. A little under, but
absolutely amazed. So we will go ahead and go. I honestly thought you were going to crush me this turn.
Did you?
It was going to be turn 4, we're done.
It's hard. It's hard to. I mean, at 21 plus all the rallying and stuff, it's hard to do that many wounds because you think you're 22, 24. I have to do at least 18 wounds to make it a good test.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So 18 wounds is hard to do with 25 attacks.
Definitely.
So after last turn, like I said in the review there, I thought he was going to crush me. I was surprised that he didn't, and happy that he didn't. So I charged back in on the right flank there to his Steel Behemoth. Charged back into the Horde there in the middle with my Horde. I chose to charge the Ironclad with my Abomination, or the Rat Fiend. Merely, I'm trying to remember why. I think it was just because their nerve was lower, so I could possibly break them and run through that unit. I decided to charge the Steel Behemoth with my unit of shock troops to avoid a possible flank. Because you can flank my Rat Fiend with the Steel Behemoth next turn. Charge back in with the other Rat Fiend, and his Brock Riders are just sitting there. He wanted to try, later on, he wants to try and charge through things. He can't, because he can't charge through combat. And he can't move through my units, so in a way, moving those Berserkers there helped because it kept them out of danger for a little while, but then also hindered him a little bit because he pretty much, they're stuck there for a couple of turns. So it kind of hurt, kind of helped.
All right, bottom 4. So they pretty much, shock troops kept doing some wounds on the...
You rolled pretty good.
I did. I rolled pretty good. We were actually both pretty surprised. Did a lot of wounds on the... what is he? Why can't I think of your... Steel Behemoth, thank you. God, they're just blanking with names. The Spear Warriors went back into your dwarf guys. What the hell are they?
Shield Breakers.
Shield Breakers, thank you. Fuck, I quit. Did a couple more wounds, which was good. Still not enough to break them. I think you rolled right at what, 20?
Yeah, it was sorry.
It was like,
it
oh
was
man,
scary for a second.
20.
Like, really,
yeah,
lose
10. It's like, are you serious? You're gonna lose to Spear Warriors? I eventually decided to charge the other Steel Behemoth. Put 5 wounds on him. I was pretty happy with that.
Definitely good.
Did not think that I was going to break your ironclad, but I did. Which was
rolling
good.
high leaderships.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
all game.
yeah.
It's like I can't roll under 10 for a nerve check.
And then, well, you did though, right here.
Finally,
with the
I got
Berserkers.
one. Yeah.
Or the Berserkers. You
The
rolled
one you
like
not want to die.
Yeah, right. They just keep getting in the way. So they're gonna keep slowing it down. Oh, and I forgot to do my regen rolls.
Yeah, you did your regen.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't forget my regen rolls. So yeah, they're gonna just
Yeah, because you're like at 8.
butcher. Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. So they're just gonna start. They're just gonna get butchered by those berserkers that are still alive. Yeah, shit's getting real. I did not think it was gonna go to turn 5, to be honest with you. So I'm pretty happy that the Ratkin, this makeshift army I've never played, is actually freaking doing pretty good. So we'll go to top of 5.
So this turn was pretty short, but pretty pivotal. He charged back in with the 2 hordes, and then decided to start moving his Brock Riders around the side of that impassable. And of course, we both kind of looked and went, "Oh crap! I mean, I don't have anything close that I can turn around."
All right, top of 5.
Top 5. Just all combat now.
Yep.
See if I can grind it out.
All combat and some death. Killed my spear warriors there in the middle,
Yeah,
which we knew was going to
that was going to
I
happen.
mean, he did 13 more
Had
wounds
a
on
chance
him.
to happen last turn, but I knew this turn for sure.
Yeah. And of course, Insane Courage is rolled on the Rat Fiend, not on them. Like I needed, but oh well. Over here did more wounds. Still not enough to get over that, because with rallying, they become 22-24, which is just gross with a horde. I mean,
Yeah.
22-24 is gross.
He's only, what do you got, 13?
Yeah.
So it's getting there.
And then over here, same thing. I mean, just they're gonna get there. I think like rolled like a 9 or something.
Yeah.
On leadership, so still gonna get there.
We're on down. Hopefully they can take this one and then be a better chance next turn.
Sounds good. And unfortunately, I don't think I hit the record button. So that last turn was not recorded, but either way, we'll go ahead and go. But I will be able to say that was a good move though with the Brock Riders. Just turn being like, fine, fuck it, I'm gonna get around the corner.
The one unit, like I said, the one I want to die is the one unit just holding it down.
And he was that unit actually has been holding back those Brock Riders for a good turn. So
yeah,
a good 2 turns actually. So cool. We'll go to bottom 5.
So coming down to the very end of the game, I mean, it's turn 5. We both knew, we measured it out. He's going to have the game go to turn 7 for him to win. So at this point, I'm just trying to kill as much crap as I can. Try and get some glory out of this game. So that's all I was in it for at this point. So we'll have to see what happens.
Figured out why the other camera is not recording anything. Apparently the memory's full. So we're just gonna have to do a quick recap this way. Pretty much, the shock troops took out the steel behemoth here. I flank charged with my death engine and the shock troops, and they took out the steel behemoth. Some awesome rolling. I'm not gonna say just
crazy.
amazing rolling. I think I did like 9 wounds over here.
Odds should have been 4. And he rolled 9 wounds.
Yeah, and then over here I did 9 wounds. That was without the flank.
Yeah, same thing.
And then I did 5 wounds with the Rat Fiend, which was able to finish off the shield breakers.
Yeah.
Another, I think it's 4 or 5 wounds or whatever with the other Rat Fiend. So now it is a race. It's a race to see if I can get there and stop your Rock Riders before they get to the Bastion. So we shall see what happens. All right. Well, normally we do the review of the game a little bit differently than this, but so even though the only unit on the board is still the Brock Riders, they would end up, or I guess actually, yeah, we got to roll and see what happens, right? See if it goes to turn 7. It does. Goes to turn 7. That right there just sealed the Dwarves' victory, because the objective was to get the Brock Riders to the Bastion.
Yep. That's all I do is play the objective.
Yep.
Sacrifice my army to get those guys.
So
I couldn't use them to charge anything, so I had 200 points just going for that.
That's awesome.
240 points.
I mean, that works perfectly for the scenario, though. The whole rest of the unit, the whole goal was to get the Brock Riders to the Bastion.
That's all I did.
And that's what they did. I mean, there's literally not another single dwarf unit on the board, and I've turned my whole Ratkin army to face them, but none of my units are going to get there before you come into base contact.
It's also about 16.
Yep,
right there.
yep, boom, hit it, and you're done. So victory points, I would definitely win, but that's not the scenario. The scenario is what you had to do, and that's awesome. So, so the word will get out to the rest of the dwarves that they need to bring reinforcements. So yeah, what do you think about the game?
It was fun. Yeah, it's something different.
Right.
It's tough having the objective be just to get there.
It was different, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. And I wanted that. I wanted us to have a different kind of game with a different objective. You
If
know,
it was a straight up game, I would play completely different.
oh yeah,
Like the Brock Riders would have charged in, but I had to like super baby them.
right. And it changed your tactics, and
Oh yeah, definitely did.
The 1,500 points also. You
It was
know,
fun. Yeah,
it was
I like the
different.
old chaff units. Something
Yeah.
different.
I absolutely love the Ironclad. Those
Yeah.
guys were just awesome.
Yeah, they'd be good.
I mean, I was amazed.
Yeah.
I was absolutely amazed. Let's see what else. As far as the Ratkin, first time I've ever played them, and I gotta say, I really, really, really like them. I made that list in about 5 minutes. I've never played them before, and I think it was a decent list. I mean, obviously, there's
Pretty much the same list I always use.
It is the exact same list, except for instead of the Blight, I used the Spear Warriors.
Yep.
And I used the Death Engine instead of, I'm sure you used something else, but I used the Death Engine, and I don't think you'd ever use that one.
I've never used that. I always used it to.
Yep, 2 Rathfiends
So
and
I'll
shock
take it
troops.
to the Death Engine. I like it.
So yeah, it was definitely good. I did not think that this game was going to go to turn 7. I tell you right now, I thought it was turn 4 and he's going to get it, or he's going to just completely destroy me, because those first couple of turns, it really looked like you had me.
Yeah. I had
But-
some high nerve tests and
Yeah.
some low nerve tests.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
and some hot dice.
It
Definitely rolled
oh
really
man,
well.
in the end there, the dice just killed you. I mean,
Yeah.
in the end there, they were just like, nope, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good to go. So, yeah. Trying to think of anything else to go over. As far as the scenario goes, this I will come up with a good storyline to go along with this. It was an awesome game, though.
Oh yeah, it was very
I
close.
mean, it was
Yeah.
fun. It was good because for some reason these last couple of games we've had, it's been blowouts.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to actually have one that was actually kind of close, you know. And you don't get much closer than this.
Turn 7.
Turn
Dice
7,
roll.
nothing on the board except for one unit. Yeah, I mean you really just
What
don't
do you
get any
need to
closer.
have on the board?
Yep. For the people that are wondering out there, this one of our pieces of terrain. It is from Dwarven Forge. It's pretty neat. All the stuff comes pre-painted if you want, and it's like a really hard, like resin almost. Looks awesome. Came right out of the box like that. So if you're definitely looking to add some more terrain pieces like we are, definitely visit dwarvenforge.com.
Yeah, it's very cool looking.
And what I like about it is it's modular. You can take it apart. The stuff is pretty strong. They say it's made out of dwarvenite, which is a strong material. And what's cool about it is you can take it apart, put it back together. You can reassemble it. Once you have more pieces, you can reassemble it differently. So you can actually make like a whole castle with it, all kinds of stuff. So it's pretty neat. And with shipping, I think it came to like $60.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
So you're figuring most houses when you see them on
Train's
eBay,
expensive.
yeah, they're expensive. So we're gonna try and get more, especially for the next scenario. The next scenario is gonna need a water feature, so it's gonna be fun. Other than that, though, try and get this bat rep out here soon. I had a lot of fun. I don't know about you.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Great
good.
game.
It was
Very
good.
fun.
So we'll catch you guys later.
Even from the safety behind the bastion's walls, the dwarves could hear the rat men outside clawing and snarling, trying to find any way to get inside. The dwarves knew that they would have to move with haste. The dwarves moved to the tallest point of the bastion and set free 5 carrier pigeons. Every pigeon had a copy of the letter that Spheri had penned. Now all the dwarves could do was wait. Some of those pigeons would not make it. They would probably be shot down with arrows or captured by other armies. But it was a risk that the dwarves had to take. If they sent only one it was for sure that it would be shot down. Once the carrier pigeons had faded into darkness, every dwarf breathed a sigh of relief. They stared at the ground, picked up their helmets, and turned towards the entry point to the bastion. They knew that they would die. They knew that they would fight. They knew that they would kill as many ratmen as they could. But would it be enough? Would it be enough to be remembered after this war? Would it be enough for the children of their ancestors to call out their names before battle? Would it be enough to be remembered among the many and among the strongest of the Dwarven brothers?